play. And running with him step for step was Gerald Vaughn. The pass falls incomplete, and Saskatchewan will have to punt. So think back to the decision by the Hamilton Ticats not to throw the ball on second down, punt it away. They get a penalty against Saskatchewan. The Ticats managed to get away without giving up any points.
No, it's like Leaf said, they play to their strengths. Their strength is their defense. They're #2 in the league. They're not letting people move the football against them, not giving up very many points. Play to your strengths. Keep yourself in the ball game.
Now Paul McCallum to punt it away. And keep an eye there on Kenny Wilhite and Orlando Steinauer, two guys who can return the ball well. Good high punt by McCallum. This is Wilhite from the 20. Wilhite has nowhere to go and gets out to about the 22-yard line. Two flags come down late. A 48-yard punt and a return of 2. First quarter in Hamilton. The Saskatchewan Roughriders lead the Ticats 7-1. Back at Everwin Stadium, illegal block against the Ticats means that Hamilton will start at its own 12-yard line, bundled up deep again. Calvillo backs the throw, over the middle he goes, and almost intercepted. Jason Mallett, the safety man, was the closest one there. The pass intended for Prince Wimbley, and the short fuse in the Hamilton stands gets shorter.
I really think that Anthony Calvillo was going to get 3 series tonight to get something going. That's just my perspective before Don Southern might make a change. He talked earlier this week about a quick hook if things didn't go well. That time the protection was there.
Second down now and 10 yards to go from the 12. Here comes the blitz from Saskatchewan. Calvillo nowhere to go, and down he goes. LeBrant Robinson, Troy Alexander get there for Saskatchewan, and the Bluebirds are really out at Everwin Stadium.
And once again, the sack comes again from the front 4. Bobby Jurison, number 71, to the top of the screen, gets the pressure. I mean, there is a lot of pressure, period. But there's Bobby Jurison at the top, and this is just tenacity and second effort. He's working on Jude St. John. And the second sack tonight also comes on an inside move against the Hamilton tackle. So obviously, they've seen something on film where they feel if they can take the tackle up the field and that cut underneath, they're going to get to the quarterback, and they've gotten there twice.
Now Paulus Baldiston once again to punt from his end zone. Profil Greer and Terrell Ulmer are back to receive. And boy, the Ticats have really been bottled up so far in this football game.
They put a lot of pressure on Paulus Baldiston to make some darn good kicks.
This one off the side of his foot. Bounces down about the 53-yard line. Terrell Ulmer back into Saskatchewan territory. And he'll just get across midfield, or maybe to midfield, a 45-yard punt. A loss of 2 on the return. Reggie Slack and the Saskatchewan offense benefiting once again from good field position. Now, can they get anything done against this Hamilton defense?
Well, this is a situation where Reggie needs to push some points across the board. Their defense has played extremely well for them, kept Hamilton pinned up on their end of the field. Their special teams have played well. Now it's time for the offense to take the ball, push it down the field and score. That's a well-oiled offense, a well-oiled team when you're all working together.
Saskatchewan begins first down at midfield. Flat quick drop. Underneath again for Rick Walters. Walters down to the 52-yard line. A pickup of 4. Well, the Hamilton defense has really done a heroic job for the Ticats so far this year. Mike Campbell, Mike Philbrick in the middle, Willie Whitehead and Joe Monfort outside. Calvin Tiggle, the man in the middle for this Hamilton defense. And in the defensive backfield, I'll tell you what, Orlando Steinauer is having an all-star kind of year. 5 interceptions. He's got interceptions in 4 consecutive games. On second down, Slack, lots of time, steps up over the middle for Farthing, battling for the football. It falls incomplete. Jumping up there on the coverage was Frank West, the linebacker, so a matchup Saskatchewan liked, but the pass is broken up.
That's a great matchup for the defense because they've got 6 defensive backs on the field. He normally plays linebacker. He's a linebacker playing in a DB's body, and he covers extremely well one-on-one.
Yeah, and I think that allows Hamilton to come with the blitz, too. That time they brought Calvin Tiggle right up the middle, but that defensive secondary, and of course Frank West, as David mentioned, allow them to come up and play tight on these Saskatchewan receivers, and that's a good scheme that we're seeing from them to begin this game.
Another booming punt by McCallum. This is Steinauer from the 5-yard line, and Steinauer gets nowhere. K.D. Williams makes the stop, a 47-yard punt, and a return of 6. And I'll tell you what, Anthony Calvillo is going to get tired of seeing his own goalpost, because that's where he's been starting every drive in this football game. But last year, what a game he had against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Calvillo set the team record for passing yards in a game at Taylor Field. Seemed like he could do no wrong. A touchdown pass to Matt Cody, and part of the reason Hamilton's struggling this year could be the loss of Matt Cody, but whatever it was, Anthony Calvillo in October of 1996 had the kind of day that quarterbacks dream about. And here he starts at his own 11.
Interesting about that, Gord, is they lost that football game. 2 for 5-18 and lost.
On first down, Calvillo for Earl Winfield. Winfield has the catch and some room to run. And Winfield out to the 38-yard line. The first big play turned in by the Hamilton offense.
Well, why wouldn't you go to this situation earlier, Gord? You got a defensive back that hasn't played very much, and you got one of the greatest receivers that ever lined up in the CFL. That's an area I would exploit throughout the ball game.
And of course, he's working against a young corner in Todd McMillan. And not only is this a terrific move here, but David, this sends a message to the rest of the team that Earl Winfield's going to pay the price to try and win this game. He could have gone out of bounds, but he tried to dish out some punishment himself, and I think that's a message to his teammates.
A 25-yard gain. Back to the ground on first down to Starchy Amerson. Trips up as he gets out across the 45-yard line. A pickup of 7 yards. And there goes Cal Murphy to the ambulance. And certainly a great deal of concern for all those who know Cal Murphy, and think about the fact that 5 years ago he had a heart transplant, so certainly Cal's health is something to keep your eye on. A broken wrist, we're told. He'll be taken to the hospital for x-rays after being bowled over.
And really unfortunate, because Jim Daly told me today that Cal Murphy has really meant a lot to not only him, but the entire coaching staff to have all this experience. And I asked Jim Daly point blank, do you talk to Cal a lot about decision making? He said, yes. I'm the one that still makes the final decisions, but his input has been invaluable to me.
Now Dale Joseph called for unnecessary roughness, a 15-yard penalty that sends Hamilton down to the Saskatchewan 50. On first down, Calvillo, quick drop, comes it for Winfield again working on McMillan, and Winfield has the ball down to the 43-yard line, a pickup of 7.
Now, David Archer, let me ask you this. They've completed 3 hitch passes now to Winfield in this game. At what point do you say, hey, hitch and go is coming pretty soon?
Well, you got to make sure the defensive back is jumping at least before you can take him over the top. I don't think you're going to see McMillan jump much of anything. I think the defense needs to protect him a little bit, maybe roll him up with a halfback going over the top to protect him.
And I think you're dead on with that analysis. They can roll that up and take that play away in a hurry.
Now flags fly before the play got off. The Saskatchewan Roughriders claim they were drawn offside. George Black will have the final word on that.
Procedure, Hamilton number 13. Repeat, second down.
They call it against Calvillo, and that's a costly penalty. It'll bring up 2nd and long now, make it 2nd and 8 to the dismay of Don Southern.
Well, the quarterback's not supposed to move before the snap, and it looked like Calvillo got away with a little bit of a rock back there, Gordon. Maybe drew some people offside or drew his own team offside.
Calvillo has yet to complete a pass to anyone but Earl Winfield in this game. 2nd and long on play action. Looking for Winfield again. He's got the catch of the first down to the 37-yard line. All 4 completions by Anthony Calvillo in this game have gone to number 1.
And let's give Anthony Calvillo credit where credit's due. Earl Winfield's having a whale of a first quarter. He's getting open, working on the young corner. And to Calvillo's credit, he keeps going back to him. If Winfield's going to be there, if it's not broken, don't try and fix it. So go back to Earl. He's having a good first quarter, and they finally got a very good drive going.
That's pretty good coverage by the young corner. Just Winfield making a good catch.
Now the give goes off to Archie Amerson. That is going nowhere. John Kropke gets up to help make the stop, along with Lamar McCriggs. And it'll be a loss of 3 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and long again for the Hamilton Ticats.
And this really brings to mind one of the problems that Hamilton has had on offense this year is they've just been 2nd and long too many times. For Anthony Calvillo, the pressure of 2nd and 10 plus time after time has been just too much, and all of a sudden with a bad running play they find themselves in that situation.
Under a minute to play in the first quarter. 2nd down from the 40. Calvillo Steps up, dropped the football, and gets buried by John Kropke. Now the ball at the 42-yard line. Will Southern punt, or will he try the 50-yard field goal?
Well, really, nobody knocked this ball loose that I could see from Calvillo. It looked like he had an opportunity to maybe run for a few yards. Kropke will get credit for the sack. Maybe Jurison tipped it out just a little bit.
Now Don Southern, who earlier punted from the 44-yard line, will now try a field goal from the 42. It'll be a 49-yard try by Paul Osbaldiston. It would be his longest field goal of the year. He struggled from long distances this year, 2 for 5 from outside the 40. It's at his back from 49 yards out. A line drive by Osbaldiston, and it is good. You could have hung your laundry on that thing, but it's now 7-4 Saskatchewan.
I don't care how they go through, Gord. That was important. They needed to get points on that drive. It was a decent drive. They made a few mistakes. Calvillo fumbled the ball to end the drive, but they needed to have points there, and they got them.
It's like golf, David. There's no pictures on the scorecard. It'll be 3 points in the statistics tomorrow.
Paul Osbaldiston, who passed Trevor Kennard earlier this year as the CFL's 4th leading scorer of all time. And think about what the Hamilton defense has done here so far, guys. With Saskatchewan enjoying great field position, Hamilton's been able to hold them off the board since that opening drive touchdown.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And had an interesting chat with Paul Osbaldiston before the game. He said, Leaf, you know, I've been here for 12 years. We've only had 2 winning seasons in those 12 seasons. I was amazed at that.
And a Grey Cup win somewhere in the middle of all that. Reggie Slack up and throwing, has Rod Harris for the catch up around the 40-yard line. Harris with a gain of 5 as we reach the end of the opening quarter. The Saskatchewan Roughriders have a 7-4 lead after the first 15 minutes.
Friday night football tonight.
Welcome back. Friday night football after 1 quarter. Yes, Les Brown had it called. It's going to be defense dominating in this football game. Only 1 touchdown drive. A drive, Les, that was aided by another one of those roughing the passer calls, and I have a feeling how you feel about this call.
Well, we have to take a look at it, but you know what? There's one thing we have to get the rules straight. As long as the guy is in the field of play, he's allowed to be hit. And I know that David Archer is a quarterback, and he's trying to protect the quarterbacks and all, but the guy had chances, like Lee Pedersen said, to run out of bounds a long time before all this happened. So he should have run out of bounds when he had the opportunity to. Like right there, he had a chance to go straight out of bounds, but he decides to get more yardage. Now, these guys are allowed to tee off on him if he's going to try to get more yardage, and that's what they did in the field of play. Referees have to understand that that's in the field of play and not throw the flag.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now, Reggie Slack, to be fair, I mean, looked very good on that drive, although there were certainly some questions about that penalty. The other counterpart, Anthony Calvillo of Hamilton, Obi, continues to look like he has very little confidence in not getting a lot of help out there.
Well, his supporting cast, once again, when you watch what's happened in that first quarter, Hamilton's offensive line has had a lot of problems protecting him. And with bad field position and breakdowns up front, look at this. The pressure gets to him, and it's putting Hamilton in a bad field position situation, and it gave Saskatchewan a chance to come back and score a touchdown.
Well, Bob, I don't know who you blame more for Calvillo's deficiencies. Do you blame the line, or do you blame Don Southern for attacking Calvillo verbally during the course of the week in public by calling him terrible? I think Anthony Calvillo is suffering confidence-wise because of that more than anything.
I do understand that saying these things behind closed doors is one thing, but when you come out in the paper and you say that publicly about a player, then it does mess with his head a bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, would you do something like that with a quarterback ever?
For once, I think these guys are right.
Well, did you ever attack anybody that way?
No, I tried not to make it a public issue. I tried to always deal with guys behind closed doors, face to face.
We always found out anyway, though.
A rare consensus here. It is getting awfully scary, so we better head back to Iverwood Stadium for the second quarter. Once again, Gord Miller, David Archer, and Leif Pedersen. Take it away, guys.
All right, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who might have held a practice or 2 in the wind, now have the wind at their back to start the second quarter with a 7-4 lead.
You know, Gord, I've always admired Les Brown's knowledge in the studio there about how to call these plays.
Here we go. Well, that'll do it for me. Good night, everybody. 2nd and 5 now from the 40-yard line. Slack under pressure, gets it away, and complete to Rod Harris. And Harris into Hamilton territory at the 51-yard line is stopped by Aaron Ruffin, the new man at safety for the Hamilton Ticats. More on that in a moment.
Well, one thing you have to like between the 2 teams tonight is the Reggie Slack's getting a good pocket to step up into, and Anthony Calvillo isn't. When you have that kind of time in a receiving core, that he has around him, you're going to complete some balls.
Roughing on in place of Rob Hitchcock on the bench after the late hit on Reggie Slack. So Hitchcock to the sidelines, coach's decision. First down, Saskatchewan. Here comes Robert Mims, and Mims is tripped up right away by Mike Philbrick. Been a rough go for Robert Mims, if you think about it. 128 yards rushing against Edmonton in week 2. He's got only 113 yards in 4 games since.
And Mike Philbrick, I mean, this is not a lot of fun to play on the nose, but when they pull, watch how he follows down the line of scrimmage to end up making the play here. I mean, he takes on a pretty good block, gets through the block, and makes the hit in the backfield. And Philbrick, when you play the nose, you don't get a lot of glory, but he made a heck of a play like that, and you have to recognize it.
Loss of a couple at 2nd and 12. Slack now from the shotgun. Lots of time. Has a man. Curtis Mayfield is picked off. Hitchcock's back in the game. He's got the interception. And across midfield to the Saskatchewan 51, and Slack gives him a shot on the way out of bounds.
Well, Rob Hitchcock is in the game because they went to their nickel package, meaning their 2nd and long situation, brought in an extra defensive back, took a linebacker or a defensive lineman out. That allowed him to have a 3-man rush, drop 9 into coverage. You'll see the 3-man rush. Mayfield's running the in route, coming in your screen right now, and it's just overthrown.
And he had to get it over top of Justin Ring, who got a good drop from his linebacking position, and then he simply overthrew it. Don't think Reggie Slack didn't remember who hit him out of bounds.
That's a tough scenario when you're the quarterback and they're dropping 9 into coverage. There's not a lot of holes down the field.
Rob Hitchcock answers big time in his first play back, and now Hamilton first down at the Saskatchewan 51. Calvillo, pump fake, can't find anyone open and gets buried. Troy Alexander gets there. Calvillo wanted to go up the field to Ted Alford, but he was well covered on the out and up.
And that is strictly a coverage sack. There was plenty of time to release the football, but the coverage, as Gord indicated, was so good downfield on an out and up that Calvillo just had to eat the football.
Well, what they had on is they had the hitch and go on you talked about earlier, Leaf, but the coverage didn't allow it. They rolled to that side, and they ran it to the wrong guy, run it to the other corner where Winfield's line.
I was just going to say, I mean, you have not set this up with Alford. You've set it up with Winfield, and so it really makes no sense at all.
2nd and 15. Here comes the blitz again. Calvillo guns it for Winfield. He's got the catch down to the 35-yard line. All 5 of Calvillo's completions have gone to Earl Winfield.
And Todd McMillan was pretty lucky there because he was playing college football when the receiver's down, the play is over, and that is not the case in the CFL, giving Winfield all kinds of room as he works in. Watch McMillan stop. And then he remembers, oh no, he's still alive, I better touch him.
And super protection. Marcus Thomas stepped up and picked up a blitzing Lamar McGriggs. So we've been on the offensive line the whole game. They stepped up there and gave him some pass pro.
A 22-yard gain for Earl Winfield. Now on first down, back to the ground. Archie Amerson around the corner. Flags come down. Katie Williams gets a piece of Archie Amerson, and they must have got a piece of the face mask there. Now, Leaf is saying holding, and Dave is saying face masking.
I'm saying holding.
Well, you're going to get a holding call, but they missed the face mask.
Ah. Well, we'll split the difference then. Here's George Black.
Holding, Hamilton number 18. Repeat first down.
Well, what a huge penalty that is to the Hamilton Ticats, and I guess you could say a huge non-call on the face mask. Let's have a look.
Now, how do you miss this? This referee is standing right in front of Archie Amerson, and if that's not a face mask...
And this is what drives the players crazy, the inconsistencies in officiating. I mean, that is absolutely ludicrous that you do not make that call, and Don Southern has every right to be pretty peeved at that one.
Amerson was arguing before he was down. And now it's 1st and 20 from the 45-yard line. Calvillo, look out! Gets it away. Amerson with the catch, still going, gets down to about the 34-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 11 yards. Well, the first quarter saw Saskatchewan drive the ball downfield on its first possession, but after that, the defenses settle in. The two teams combined for just 107 net yards, but Earl Winfield did all the damage.
Well, 45 yards rushing from Saskatchewan, and all that's from Reggie Slack's 2 scrambles, including the run for the touchdown, so that's a little bit distorted.
You're saying my stats are distorted? You're not the first to say that yet. 2nd and 9 from the 34. Calvillo In trouble again. Flags down again. He slides down to the 31-yard line. And that, too, would come from the area that would suggest holding.
Saskatchewan Roughriders are giving the Hamilton offensive line a lot of different looks. That time they lined up in a 3-man front, but at the snap of the football, 6 people were coming, so they're trying to really give them some sneaky looks, and it's paying off because the offensive line's
Tripping.
confused.
Hamilton number 33. Repeat, second down.
Ah, the old tripping call against Marcus Thomas. He'll sit down for 2 minutes now as Saskatchewan goes to the power play.
Well, Marcus Thomas to the outside. He obviously probably beaten on the block on the pass rush, and you be the judge. You tell me where that was. I mean, this is 2 calls in a row that are ridiculous. A non-face mask and now tripping. I mean, I've yet to see it.
Hamilton flagged for the 8th time in the ball game. Now Calvillo under pressure again, gets tied up with his own offensive lineman. Sets it up for Ken Alford. And Alford gets down to about the 33-yard line. He'll be well short of the first down. And Hamilton will send the field goal unit on the field after a gain of 10 by Alford.
And you have to give Terrell Ulmer, number 2, a lot of credit on this play, because out in the open field, Alford's a tough guy to bring down. So what did he do? He turned him back to the inside, would not let him get outside any farther. Now he knows he's going to get some help from the rest of the defense, and you know, it's tough for Alford to pick up a first down. He comes up way short.
You know, Anthony Calvillo is doing a great job of taking care of the football. He's not making the bad throw into coverage. He's trying to scramble, make something happen on his own. That was just a great job of buying himself some time.
Now was Ballison from 41 yards out into the wind. A line drive earlier. He blasts this one, and it's wide. Profale Greer, you want to bring it out? He slipped on the tight cat in the end zone, and now he'll take a knee and give up the single point. 9:46 to play in the second quarter. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders now with a 7-4 lead. Welcome back to Ironwood Stadium in Hamilton, Saskatchewan, with a 2-point lead on the Hamilton Ticats as TC. What is that guy's name again? TC, right? They must have been up all night thinking up that name. First down, Saskatchewan from its own 35-yard line. Black gives it off to Robert Mims, and Mims flashes in for 5 yards before the stop is made on the play. Tackled by Gerald Bond, and you know, we talked about it earlier. Robert Mims has really slowed down the last couple of weeks. He was number 1 in the league in rushing through 2 weeks. Now he's dropped down to number 5.
It seems like they haven't tried to use him a heck of a lot. Those 316 yards ranks him 5th in the league right now. Compare that to Mike Pringle, who's at 509. You just see how far Mims is behind. Keep in mind, he was over 1,400 yards a year ago. It just doesn't seem as important to them to establish the run this year.
Had 128 against Edmonton in 1 game. Now Slack under pressure from Joe Montford, and he is sacked. Joe Montford with his 4th sack of the year. Reggie Slack never had a chance.
This is a designed roll all the way, and Robert Mims' responsibility is to block Joe Montford, get an outside leg and give Slack the outside, but Montford just beats him physically and gets to the football.
Boy, does he ever. Look, David, I mean, Mims is out here, but Montford has the speed to take the inside and still chase down Slack from behind. I mean, that is having tremendous confidence in your speed and quickness, and boy, Montford really has been the leader of the front 4 of the Ticats. He's a linebacker, but hey, he plays as a rush end on almost every play.
It was a loss of 12. Paul McCallum to punt once more. Another good high kick. Getting Wilhite to the 45-yard line. Flags are down. That'll be no yards. And Wilhite takes a lot of abuse to get right back where he stood. 8:38 to play in the first half. Saskatchewan with a 7-5 lead on Hamilton.